everybody, welcome back to another video on Cute Kangaroo, and in today's video I am going to be doing a 2024 reading wrap-up. And yes, I know January is almost over and I probably won't be posting this video for a few days because I have to edit, but it's fine, at least I'm doing it now. So let's get into it.
Kangaroo, cute kangaroo, cute kangaroo.
The first book I read this year was Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, and honestly, at the beginning of the book, I was so bored, and I started it in 2023, and I was so bored, but I finished it January 2nd, when I was at the airport, and I couldn't put it down. It was so good, it had me hooked. So even though the beginning was a little slow, the middle and the end were worth it. So honestly, it's a really good book, and I still need to read the third one in the series. So maybe I'll get to that this year, but I don't know. I don't think I will. But trust, I will try, maybe. So that was my first book of the year, and I rated it 4 stars. And honestly, I rated it at the beginning in January, and I think I would still give it 4 stars because I really liked the plot and it kept me hooked, and Holly Jackson really writes really good murder mystery stories, and honestly, it had me really interested, so I liked it. So the second book we have that I read in 2024 was Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I love Divine Rivals, which is the first book in this duology. It had me captured in the world, and I loved the war aspect of it, and honestly, it was an amazing book, and I really loved it. The characters, Roman and Iris, oh my god, I love them so bad. Rebecca Ross captured them so well, and she just did an amazing job, and I didn't have too much of a high expectation for this book because I know usually that the second book in a duology isn't as good as the first, but honestly, I think she did a really good job with this book. I think she captured the ending really well and wrapped up the story very nicely, and it did get me a little bit emotional, and this is what I have to say to Iris's brother.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Yeah, that's what I have to say. So I actually didn't rate this book on my Goodreads, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I would give it 4 stars as well, because I gave Divine Rivals 5 stars, and I don't think this really matched Divine Rivals level, so I'll give it 4 stars. But it was still really good, and I really recommend it. Next up is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I finished this book in a day, and I really liked it at the beginning, but since I read it so fast, I don't think I really captured all of the aspects, I didn't really take it in, because I was like, oh, this book is short, let me just fly through it. So I didn't really capture everything I needed to. I didn't really focus on it. So I did reread it in September, I believe, and that's when I annotated it. You can see my annotations here. And now I give this book 5 stars. Not because I liked it, I liked it so much that I gave it 5 stars, but because it's just a 5-star book. I don't know if this makes sense. It's not my favorite book ever, but the writing was so good. The characters were so complex, and I really loved the story, and I think overall it is a 5-star book. So I did give it 5 stars. So that's what I have for this one. Can you focus? Hello? Oh, hi. The next book I read was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and this book I gave it 4 stars, and honestly, I really liked it. I did get a little bit stuck near the middle, or near the beginning, because I was kind of bored, but it did pick up the pace when it was at the climax and we were finding out who the murderer was, and they were getting closer to finding out who the murderer was. But overall, it was a really good book. I love Thomas and Audrey Rose. I love them so bad. Literally in my review, my first thing was I heart Thomas because he's amazing actually. And they're an amazing couple. And I wish I could pick up the second book, Hunting Prince Dracula, and I did. I read like the first few pages, but I'm just not in the mood for it right now. And I read this in February. I haven't been in the mood for it in like 11 months. So I need to lock in. And I know Addie is going to say that I need to lock in. And probably Shay too. And I'm sorry. And I will one day. But today is not that day. But overall, this was a really good book. I recommend it if you like murder mystery. Also, it's set... I don't know when it's set. 1800? Like, when was Stalking Jack the Ripper? Sorry, my camera's inverted, so I have no idea. Like, it's confusing me. But I'm gonna put the date... right here of when this book takes place. And, yeah, I recommend it, and... yeah. Next, we have a book by my favorite author, Marissa Meyer. Yes, the author of Heartless. She broke my heart into a million little pieces, but I still love her because her writing is beautiful. But this book, it's not my favorite book by her, like, at all. It might be my least favorite book by her because this one, it's contemporary romance. It's like a rom-com, and it has like dungeons. It's the main character is so nerdy. His name is Jude, like Hey Jude from the Beatles. That's literally what he's named after. And he's so nerdy. He likes Dungeons and Dragons. He's really cute. And he likes this girl. I forgot her name, but she's like a singer-songwriter, and she wants to be like she wants to be able to sing her songs for people. And throughout the book, they're best friends, but he has a crush on a different girl. But later on, he realizes, like, she's not the one for me. She is. So, like, you know, it's kind of the usual contemporary romance book, you know? And I really like this book. The only thing is, Marissa, she used Riz. She used the word Riz in this book. Marissa, tell me how you wrote Heartless. The most beautiful book I've ever read. Gut-wrenching, beautifully written, and then you use the word Riz in this book. Marissa, no. Marissa, no. But other than that little mishap, it's a pretty good book. I recommend it if you like contemporary romances, like rom-coms, cute, silly little books. And yeah, I think I gave this book also 4 stars. Like, 4 stars is what I rate most of the books because I'm easily entertained and I'm not that harsh of a rater. So yeah, 4 stars, and I recommend it if you like silly little rom-coms. Next, we have one of my favorite books of the year, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. It's fantasy-esque, and it is based off a Korean mythology story, and I don't know too much about that, but I really love this book. I loved all of the magic, all of the romance, and honestly, the ending surprised me, but overall, it was such an amazing book. I flew through it. Look at the cover. It's already so pretty. Let me see if it has... Oh, it doesn't have anything on the inside. But I saw, like, I think it was LitJoy, Lit Crate. I don't know. There's so many different ones that have the same name. But it was a special edition, and it was so pretty, and I wish I had gotten it, but I got the Heartless one instead, because obviously I was going to get the Heartless special edition instead. Anyways, I really love this book. It's about a girl named Mina, and every year, or every couple of years, bear with me, I read this near the beginning of the year, every couple of years, the girl they think is most worthy has to jump into the sea to be sacrificed for the sea god. I think, let me make sure. Sacrificed. Yeah. Sacrificed to keep the sea god happy so he doesn't, like, send storms to their village. And since the girl who was going to be sacrificed was her brother's lover, she sacrificed herself instead. And she gets swept away to the spirit realm and she meets love interests, and overall, oh my god, I you need someone needs to read this book so I can talk about it with them, because nobody else I know has read this book, and I need to I need to rant about it to someone. There's a bird out. Not a bird. There's like a bug outside my window, and it scared me because it was big. But I don't want to take up too much time ranting about this book, but I did give it 5 stars because it is 100% 5-star worthy. So please go read it if you love me. Next, we have The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black, and this book, oh my god, in March. I read it in March. I got to meet the Holly Black, and she signed my book. Oh my god. I was nerding out, like, when I met her. Like, I was like, oh my god, I love you. Your books got me, like, into reading fantasy. And it was such an amazing experience getting to meet her. And it was so cool. But overall, I think I gave this book 4 stars or 5 stars. I don't remember. I'll put the correct rating on the screen. But this is the second book in the Prisoner's Throne duology. This one is in Oak's point of view, and it's when Oak is older. That's Jude's little brother from the Cruel Prince trilogy. And I love Oak. He's a sweetie pie. And in this book, in the other book too, we got to see him grown up, but we had it in Ren's perspective. But this time we had it in Oak's perspective, the continuation of the story. And it was really cool seeing his thoughts on the family dynamic with Jude and Carden and Maddox. And we got to see how he thought about his childhood and his feelings about his family tree, because that family tree is, like, insane. Like, it's insane. Like, it's almost as insane as my dog's family tree. Not quite there yet, but almost. But this book was really good. I definitely recommend it. But first you have to read the Cruel Prince trilogy, which is amazing. I really want to reread that, hopefully this year. And then you have to read The Stolen Heir first, because Ren, my baddie, bro. Ren is so cool. You need to read that so you can meet the female main character of this duology, and then you can read the rest. Now we have the Lunar Chronicles. Not all of them. I only read like the main books. I didn't read Stars Above or Fairest because after I finished this series is kind of my downfall in reading during 2024. That's when it kind of started, because then I was in a slump because I started Stars Above, but I didn't really feel like continuing it, and then nothing really caught my eye for a little bit. But this series was so good. Marissa Meyer never disappoints, honestly. Like, she's always cooking up in that with her books and her writing. And this series is old, like 2010s, and it's still going strong. And I think my favorite out of all of these was Scarlet. Scarlet was my favorite because of Scarlet and Wolf. They're like my favorite couple in this series. Also, Cress and Thorn are my favorite couple. My least favorite book is probably Cinder, because it was really slow and it was just like the introduction to the whole series. I really liked Winter. That was 800 pages. I can't believe I read that. Like, I read it pretty quickly, honestly, which is really good for me. I really like Crest too. It's a big book. It's intimidating. I don't know how many pages. Maybe 600, 500? I don't know. But honestly, all of these covers are so pretty. You can see them from this, because I'm not taking them out because it takes me forever to put them back in this box. But look at how pretty these covers are. Like, I love these. They're so pretty. Now we have a really amazing book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stefan Chbosky. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. But this book was so amazing. The movie absolutely changed me. I did watch the movie first, and then I read this because I just really wanted to watch the movie, and I had been wanting to watch it for a long time. And after I watched the movie, I was like, I need to read this book to see like the differences of what was in the movie, what was in the book, you know. And I gave this book 5 stars because it's absolutely worth it again. And it follows 16-year-old Charlie, who is in his freshman year of high school, and he's going through so many different things. Oh my goodness, he's my son. Like, I love him. But it's basically him writing letters to us, the reader, telling us about what's going on at school. And even though it's like letters, it still feels like you're reading a story, like it's a regular book. But this book was so beautiful. It did make me tear up, especially the ending, like the letter at the end that's from the author. That made me cry because it was so sweet. So I definitely recommend this book if you like coming of age stories, mental health representation, because this Charlie was going through it. He was absolutely going through it, and there's a lot of mental health rep in this book, LGBTQ characters and awareness. And oh my god, I just love this book so much, and I definitely recommend it if you are like a thought daughter or maybe a thought son even. You need to read this. It's amazing. Next, we have The Raven Boys by Mackie Steffader. I hope I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. But this was one of my favorite books I read this year because one of the main tropes is found family, and I absolutely love found family. And another thing I love about this book is the fantasy vibes, where it's not full force fantasy. It's like it has fantasy undertones, magical undertones, where fantasy is kind of not fantasy, magic is kept hidden from the world. Not It's not something everybody knows about, which is something I really love in books. And also it has a lot of witchy vibes, like tarot cards, like crystals, like very, I don't know how to explain it, but I really loved that part of the book. It made me feel so cool. I felt so cool reading it. Like, oh my god, now I know what like these tarot cards mean. Like, I'm saying like a lot. I'm sorry, but this book I gave it 5 stars because the it kept me going. Like I didn't want to stop reading it. I don't think I was in a slump while I read this, so I think I read it relatively quickly, so I didn't get too stuck anywhere because it was all like pretty fast paced because we were introduced to the characters, they met, we started having like them getting to know each other, then the adventure started. So overall, an amazing book. Definitely read it. Next, we have The Dream Thieves, also by Maggie. This one follows Ronan, the main character, well, one of the main characters in The Raven Boys. And he's really grumpy. He has a lot of family problems. He's like, I don't want to say bad boy because that makes it sound cringy, but he's kind of emo. Yeah, he's kind of emo. But I love him. Like, this book, you really got to know more about him, more about his family dynamic, and you got to see why he is the way he is. And I really liked reading about him because it was really interesting. I did get into a little bit of a slump during the book, but overall, I think I got through it relatively quickly. But I think I gave this book 4 stars. No, I think I also gave it 5 stars. I'll put the correct rating on the screen. But I love this book. So obviously, if you read The Raven Boys, you have to go ahead and read this book too. Last but not least, we have Every Last Word. Me and Aya did a review video. Go check that out. It's our series called Reality Check Between the Pages. There's only one episode right now. I don't know when episode 2 is ever gonna come out or if it ever is gonna come out, but trust, hopefully we can lock in. But this book, oh my goodness, this was one of my favorite books of the year too because it had OCD representation, which meant everything to me. And also just the main character, it was so relatable. Like, this book, the main character, Sam, she's so real. Like, she's so real. Like, she's a realist, one of the realest female main characters you're gonna see out there. And she had to go through like friendship problems while struggling with her OCD. She was trying to find new friends because her original friend group was horrible and rude and mean. And it also has a romance. And AJ, my goat. My goat. Like, he's a love interest. I love him so bad. He's he's so amazing. Oh my god. But please go read this book. I gave it 5 stars because it is absolutely deserving of 5 stars. And everybody who has read it really likes it from what I've done, from what I've heard, like people who I know who have read it. And I recommend this to a lot of people. Like, some of my friends asked me to do the 12 books for every month challenge, and I gave every last word to a couple of them. And yeah, so this was an amazing book, and if you haven't, go check out me and Aya's video about it. It has a non-spoiler part and then a spoiler part. So watch the non-spoiler part before reading it, and then after you read it, you can watch the part with the spoilers where we talk about the actual contents of the book. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In total, this year I read 16 books, which is not as good as 2023. I read like 50 in 2023. But I don't know, 16 is still pretty good. It's more than most people read, honestly, in a year. And before making this video, I was like, I didn't even read that much this year. But then when I had all the books together, like if you look right there, I'm like, I actually read a lot. Like, I'm very proud of myself now. So, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye!